Mike in McCammon, Idaho, listening on Sirius. Mike, you're on the air.
Yeah. Hello, Tom. Can you hear me okay?
Just fine.
Okay. I listen on WCPT in Chicago through the internet and through speech.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I'd like to share with you, I'm a former IBM employee and a longtime stockholder since 1968. And so they got rid of about 150,000 of us through these downsizing schemes, and I was one of them. But anyway, I was a stockholder, and I go back to the stockholders meeting. Of course, I get the annual report every year, and I noticed that the CEO was listed as making $2 million a year in compensation.
Right.
And I thought, well, that's more than he's worth. But then I dug down deeper, and I found out in the feedback that was coming out of Forbes and Fortune, and as far as CEO compensation, he was making $20 million.
Right. So he's taking $18 million in stock options.
It's not options.
Yeah.
Contract.
Oh, contracts.
They called him. Yeah, they're kind. In other words, when he signs up to be the CEO, he signs up for $20 million.
Right.
So the rule was, as long as it's performance related, performance related means that you.
Yeah, this is the loop. This is the loophole that Elizabeth Warren wants to change with the SAVE Act, which is the loophole that says that if you give a CEO, if you've maxed the CEO out at $2 million a year, and the company can no longer deduct the money that they give the CEO, but you want to give the CEO another $18 million, it has to be performance related, in quotes. And there's no definition of that at law, so companies are simply doing it, and the IRS is letting it happen.
That's correct. And then, so why did they do that? And by the way, they do a quarterly review of the performance service units for their executives, and it's about 1% of the company employees, about 400,000, about 1% or 4,000, and then other directors. But anyway, they do a performance review on a quarterly basis, and if the stock price is down, more shares go into it. If it's up, less shares go into it. So they're guaranteed $20 million at the end of the year. Now, because it's paid on a quarterly basis, I never verified that, but they keep the stock for 365 days plus 1 day,
right,
and then cash it in at capital gains rates of 15 to 20%.
That's right.
And then the other bad thing is the money that they're using to buy back these shares is coming from the profit. And normally when we were IBM employees, we were getting pay raises as a result of productivity. Well, then we noticed that we weren't getting pay raises, and we couldn't quite understand it. Well, we put it together is the money that was profit was being used to buy back the shares of stock.
Right.
So when the executives were saying, well, we're doing it for shareholders, the number one shareholders are the 4,000 executives at IBM.
Yep.
And this is absolutely true throughout the country.
Yep. Yeah, that was my whole point. Is this is a scam that is being run on America by big corporations and their CEOs, and there's like this cabal. There's the Business Roundtable, the CEOs of the 200 largest corporations in America. Jon Snow used to be the head of it, and Bush W made him his Treasury Secretary or Secretary of Commerce, one or the other. But anyhow, put him into the cabinet, and it's like it's like the mafia,
Well, if you take a look at the top 1% of the country, half of them are former and current executives.
Right. And the other half are what? People who were born with it? Born with money?
Well, probably, yeah, old money, and then entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Bill
Well,
Gates,
to be in the top 1% is not. I mean, to be in the top 1%, you'd have to have a net worth of over $500,000 and an annual income of over $340,000 a year, and that's not all that unusual. I mean, it's only 1%. It's only 1 out of 100 of us. But that's like your doctors, some of your high-end lawyers. That's not necessarily. But you got guys on Wall Street who are literally taking home $2 billion a year and paying the capital gains rate because of the carried interest loophole. In fact, there were either 12 or 20 of them last year on Wall Street who took home more than $2 billion each. I mean, it's just mind-boggling what's going on. And does anybody benefit from it? I mean, finance should be in an economy basically the lubricant. It's the oil that allows everything to work with everything else, right? And back before Reagan, finance was what, I've seen different statistics between 3 and 7% of our economy was based in finance. Now it's in the double digits. It's in the teens. It might even be as much as 20%. It's a huge amount of our economy is now finance, or at least related to finance. The FIRE economy, finance, insurance, real estate, and real estate, and it doesn't produce anything productive, as Adam Smith would say. It doesn't add to the wealth of the nation. Hey, thanks for that, Mike. That was just a brilliant explanation of how it all works. Thanks.
To watch more clips from our programs, hit the Watch More Videos button over here. And please be sure to hit the handy-dandy subscribe button so you'll always be up to date. Tag, you're it.